Throughout World War II, as the Pacific War escalated, hundreds of thousands of Japanese soldiers, including some women, were captured by Allied forces, and many were sent to camps in the United States. These camps were designed according to the standards of the Geneva Convention to ensure the safety, health, and basic rights of prisoners of war while keeping them separate from combat activities. When Japanese women arrived at these camps, they entered an entirely unfamiliar environment, a world they had never imagined. In Japanese society at the time, women's roles were largely confined to the domestic sphere, caring for husbands and children, managing household chores, and maintaining family traditions. Opportunities to engage in industrial, technical, or leadership roles in a professional setting were virtually non-existent. Therefore, witnessing American women working in war production was a profound cultural shock, far beyond any expectations or imagination they had previously held about women. American POW camps, such as Camp Serenity in Michigan, were located near industrial areas for the convenience of managing prisoners and also offered Japanese women a unique vantage point to observe American society. Upon first entering the camp and looking out at the factory buildings, the prisoners were stunned by the sight of thousands of women wearing protective clothing and boots operating welding machines, assembling aircraft engines, and working on other military equipment. These women were not only highly skilled workers, but also held supervisory roles, managed production lines, and made technical decisions, a complete contrast to the traditional Japanese perception of women as weak or lacking technical ability. Moreover, these women appeared confident, cheerful, and proud of their work. They conversed, laughed, and displayed a sense of pride in contributing to the war effort, which further bewildered Japanese women accustomed to strict social norms regarding gender roles. The presence of American women in industrial roles was reinforced by substantial social support systems. The U.S. government implemented industrial skills training programs specifically for women, including intensive courses to enable them to operate machinery, assemble complex equipment, and take on management roles in factories. Additionally, government-run childcare programs allowed mothers to participate in the workforce without worrying about the care of their children. This created a model in which women could maintain family responsibilities while contributing to the war production effort, something Japanese society at the time did not allow. Japanese prisoners, observing and learning about this model, realized that the limitations they had regarded as natural for women were in fact cultural conventions that could be changed. Given proper opportunity and support, women were fully capable of mastering highly skilled and intellectually demanding work. The shock to Japanese prisoners came not only from seeing women working in factories, but also from witnessing how they organized and managed the workforce. They saw women leading production lines, making crucial decisions, supervising male and female workers, and consulting with engineers on technical specifications. This directly challenged traditional Japanese gender roles, where men were considered leaders responsible for industrial and wartime decisions, while women were confined to the family and domestic sphere. Some prisoners, particularly younger and educated ones, began to realize that abilities they once thought innate to men or limited to women could be entirely altered when social conditions and economic needs demanded it. During their observation and indirect exposure to the American industrial environment, Japanese prisoners also noted that women's roles went beyond operating machinery. They engaged in more technical work, such as assembling fighter aircraft engines, inspecting mechanical parts for quality, and participating in research teams to improve products. This demonstrated that women, when properly trained and empowered, could learn and perform tasks previously assigned exclusively to men. This realization caused a profound cognitive shock for Japanese prisoners, undermining the belief that women were only suited for household work or less complex roles. They recognized that social prejudices had restrained human potential and that gender limitations were cultural, not biological. Furthermore, the sight of confident, cheerful American women proud of their work created an emotional surprise. In Japanese society at the time, women were rarely allowed to display authority, professional expertise, or career autonomy. The presence of millions of American women engaged in war production, trained, supported, and encouraged, demonstrated that women's active participation in social and economic activities was not only feasible, but highly effective. This forced Japanese prisoners to reconsider their perceptions of gender, capability, and social roles. They began to understand that what they had considered natural or traditional was, in reality, a set of social limitations that could be changed when the environment and economic needs demanded adaptation. The psychological impact on Japanese prisoners was profound. Many felt both astonished and confused, seeing American women not only participate in industrial activities, but also assume management and leadership roles, make crucial decisions, and collaborate effectively with male and female colleagues. This not only challenged gender stereotypes, but also raised broader questions about social organization, power, and the value of women's labor. Some Japanese prisoners, particularly younger ones, began questioning the capabilities and potential of women in Japanese society and how changes in gender roles could affect the economy and society in the future. Prisoners also observed the diverse collaboration among women from various social classes, races, and cultural backgrounds in American factories. Asian, African, European, and Native American women worked together in professional settings, where competence was evaluated based on skill and efficiency rather than tradition or social prejudice. This image not only surprised them, but broadened their understanding of the potential for cooperation and social organization, as well as the possibilities of flexible social structures where gender, race, or social status no longer constrained personal development. Overall, this initial phase of observation laid the foundation for a deep and lasting cognitive process among Japanese prisoners. They realized that women could participate effectively in industrial work and leadership while maintaining family responsibilities with proper social support. The initial shock gradually transformed into an understanding of women's untapped abilities and potential. These experiences not only changed their perception of women, but also raised significant questions about Japan's future society and how gender roles could be redefined in the context of new economic and industrial demands. Japanese prisoners, particularly those with education and a research mindset like Yuki Tanaka, began meticulously recording and analyzing this model, recognizing that women's workforce participation was not merely a wartime expedient, but a form of potential social reform that could enhance productivity, drive industrial development, and reshape perceptions of human capability. Direct observation confronted Japanese prisoners with a new reality. The traditional roles of women, long considered innate and natural, were products of culture, and these limitations could be dismantled when society provided support mechanisms and clear needs. Taken together, the historical context and the astonishment of Japanese prisoners witnessing American women in war industry created a profound turning point in perception. They witnessed women's technical and leadership abilities, saw the benefits of social and educational support policies, and realized that gender was not a barrier to human potential. These experiences later played a significant role in shaping post-war female workforce training programs in Japan, as society began to accept women's participation in industry and economic management, paving the way for long-term social reform. When the United States entered World War II following the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, the male workforce was quickly mobilized to the front lines, creating a significant gap in the defense industry. In response, the U.S. government launched a nationwide campaign to recruit women into the workforce, particularly in the production of weapons, aircraft, tanks, warships, and other critical military equipment. Women's roles in the wartime industry were not only meant to fill the shortage of male workers, but also became a decisive factor in productivity and efficiency, directly contributing to the Allied victory. Federal authorities and industrial promotion agencies initiated an iconic media campaign, famously symbolized by Rosie the Riveter, a woman wearing protective clothing, holding a hammer or welding tool, strong and confident. This image was more than symbolic. It reflected reality. American women took on a wide range of tasks previously reserved for men, including assembling aircraft engines, inspecting mechanical parts, operating heavy machinery, and managing production lines. These jobs required precision, technical skill, and knowledge of industrial processes, demonstrating that women were fully capable of performing tasks once considered men's exclusive domain. Statistics show that by 1944, over 6 million American women had entered the industrial workforce, accounting for approximately 36% of all workers in war-related industries. This represented a dramatic increase from pre-war times when most women were limited to household work or office jobs that did not require technical skills. Women filled positions ranging from assembly line workers and welders to quality control technicians and production supervisors. Their contributions not only sustained production amid male labor shortages, but also expanded industrial capacity far beyond pre-war levels. For instance, at aircraft factories such as Ford's Willow Run, women worked on the B-24 Liberator assembly line, producing up to 1 aircraft per hour at peak production, a level of efficiency previously unimaginable with women as the key workforce driving it. The U.S. government not only encouraged women to join, but also established comprehensive training and support programs. Industrial skill courses were rapidly implemented nationwide, covering machinery operation, assembly of complex components, quality control, production line management, and supervision. Many women had no prior exposure to technical work, but through these programs, quickly became highly skilled, capable of handling demanding and precise tasks. Additionally, the government implemented social policies to support working women, particularly in childcare. Government-funded and operated childcare centers allowed mothers to participate in the workforce with confidence, ensuring their children were cared for while they worked, enabling women to balance family responsibilities with wartime production. American women's participation also opened new opportunities in management and leadership. Women were not only machine operators but also held supervisory positions, planned production schedules, and made key decisions regarding industrial processes. They managed diverse teams of workers across gender, race, and educational backgrounds, coordinating with engineers and specialists to ensure high-quality output. In many cases, women were tasked with improving production processes, optimizing assembly lines, and developing more efficient work methods. This demonstrated that women were capable not only of learning and performing technical work, but also of exercising leadership and management in complex industrial environments. Beyond technical roles, women also contributed to research and development, supporting the improvement of military equipment. Many trained in mathematics, physics, and engineering participated in projects involving the design of aircraft, engines, and weapons, contributing directly to the technological advancement of the U.S. war effort. This provided clear evidence that women, when empowered and given opportunities, could directly engage in highly specialized fields, challenging traditional gender norms. The widespread involvement of women not only boosted productivity, but also transformed social structures. They proved that women could maintain family responsibilities while participating in technical and managerial roles, previously considered impossible. In factories, women collaborated with men and colleagues from diverse racial and social backgrounds. This not only increased production efficiency, but also broke down barriers of gender, race, and social status, paving the way for long-term social progress after the war. Overall, the role of American women in wartime industry was a pivotal turning point, both economically and socially. They demonstrated exceptional capabilities in technical, managerial, and leadership domains, expanding perceptions of women's potential in roles traditionally held by men. Their participation contributed significantly to the Allied victory and laid the foundation for post-war women ES movements and changing gender roles. From assembling aircraft and engines to improving military equipment and managing production lines, American women in World War II became a living symbol of capability, strength, and untapped potential in modern industrial society. This reality also prompted reflection among foreign observers, particularly Japanese prisoners of war, on the untapped potential of women in their own society. Witnessing women who worked efficiently while managing households, they realized that gender limitations were not biological, but the product of culture and social conditions. This stands as an important historical lesson on how war can drive social change, create new models of labor, power, and human potential, and shape perceptions of women's roles for future generations. When Japanese female prisoners first set foot in American factories and industrial facilities, their surprise and confusion quickly turned into profound cultural shock. They could hardly believe their eyes upon seeing American women, who, by their traditional expectations, were supposed to devote their entire lives to family and children, operating heavy machinery, assembling aircraft engines, inspecting equipment, and managing production lines. In Japanese society at the time, women's roles were tightly defined: caring for the family, bearing children, and serving husbands, with limited education and virtually no opportunity to participate in economic or political life. Witnessing confident, skilled, and respected American women in industrial roles completely challenged the deeply ingrained assumptions they had brought from home. One of the most shocking aspects was how American women balanced work with family and personal life. Many Japanese prisoners observed mothers bringing their children to government-funded childcare centers while working full days on production lines, ensuring their children were well cared for. This contrasted sharply with the Japanese family model, where women were expected to stay home to care for children and manage all household affairs. Prisoners also saw that American women were financially independent, contributed significantly to family income, and often made important decisions regarding household management and spending. This financial autonomy and the ability to combine professional work with family responsibilities made the Japanese female prisoners question the assumptions they had long considered absolute. Were women truly suited only for domestic roles and family service? Beyond family roles, the shock extended to how American society valued competence and efficiency over gender or tradition. Japanese prisoners witnessed women working alongside men, even supervising and managing them on critical production lines. Male workers respected the skills, knowledge, and decisions of female supervisors, regardless of their gender. This was entirely different from Japanese society, where leadership was closely tied to men, and women taking charge or making work-related decisions was considered unnatural or socially inappropriate. Seeing American women command respect while issuing instructions left Japanese prisoners both astonished and bewildered, as it challenged the entire belief system they had grown up with. Another striking factor was the diversity of the American female workforce. Prisoners observed women from many social classes, races, and backgrounds working efficiently in the same environment. Asian, African, Latin American, and European women collaborated seamlessly on production lines, without letting racial or social barriers impede productivity. While Japanese society maintained strict gender and class distinctions, witnessing a society where skill and competence determined respect and authority was a profound shock to young Japanese prisoners. They began to understand that traditional barriers they had assumed to be inevitable could be overcome if society prioritized ability and performance over long-standing prejudice. The shock intensified as Japanese prisoners saw American women participating in research and development, working with engineers and scientists to improve aircraft, engines, and weapons. They witnessed highly educated women applying mathematics, physics, and engineering to production and strategic problems, directly enhancing the effectiveness and quality of weaponry. This contradicted their belief that women lacked technical reasoning or the ability to engage in highly specialized fields. The experience reshaped their understanding of women's intellect and potential, revealing that limitations were cultural, educational, and opportunity-based, not biological. Some Japanese prisoners also realized that American women worked not only out of economic necessity or wartime pressure, but also for personal pride and motivation. They observed female workers proud of their production achievements, sharing knowledge and skills with colleagues, and viewing their contributions as integral to the war effort. This confidence, pride, and sense of responsibility were unlike anything they had seen among Japanese women in traditional society, where women's roles were restricted and undervalued. They recognized that social recognition and personal agency could serve as powerful motivators, boosting productivity and creativity without undermining moral or family values. The cultural shock extended beyond labor to perceptions of power, autonomy, and equality. Japanese prisoners saw that American women were allowed to make decisions, defend their viewpoints, participate in technical discussions, manage production, and sometimes lead male teams. This prompted them to reflect on Japanese social systems, where women were largely excluded from significant decisions both at home and in society. They began to question whether Japan was wasting a valuable resource by restricting half the population ES roles, while American women demonstrated that their capabilities and productivity could significantly contribute to national development. Prisoners were also struck by women's ability to balance work and family responsibilities. Many female workers managed production lines while caring for children with government-sponsored childcare support. They saw that shared family responsibilities could unleash human potential and enhance labor efficiency, This made Japanese prisoners realize that traditional gender constraints were not merely cultural, but also obstacles to economic productivity and social progress. Another aspect they observed was the integration of gender and racial diversity within the workforce, something previously unseen. American women worked together regardless of background, race, or social class, collaborating to accomplish complex tasks. They observed that skill, knowledge, and competence, not social status or tradition, determined success. This combination not only produced high efficiency, but also dismantled social barriers, opening new perspectives on human potential when opportunity and authority are granted. All these observations forced Japanese prisoners to confront a difficult reality. The beliefs about gender, social roles, and family order that they had considered immutable were being profoundly challenged. They realized that women could work in technical roles, manage and lead, and still maintain family and social relationships effectively. This created a powerful psychological shock, compelling them to rethink women's capabilities and roles in Japanese society, as well as the potential for long-term post-war change. The shock deepened when they saw American women participating in strategic decisions regarding production and technological improvement. In factories, women contributed to research on aircraft engines, weapon development, and production process optimization. This demonstrated that women could engage in highly specialized fields and make critical strategic decisions, virtually unheard of in traditional Japanese society. Recognizing that gender was not a barrier to intellectual and technical ability became a turning point in Japanese prisoners' thinking, leading them to consider applying these lessons to their own society's future. Through observing and working alongside American women, Japanese prisoners also realized that this transformation was not merely a wartime response, but a genuine social revolution. They saw that granting women opportunities, authority, and recognition created an effective workforce while expanding understanding of equality, diversity, and social cooperation. These experiences made them question whether traditional Japanese values and beliefs were still suitable for a new era, and whether Japanese society could or should change to fully harness women's potential. This cultural shock extended beyond labor to deeply influence perceptions of personal power, autonomy, and societal change. Japanese prisoners began questioning women's future roles, the applicability of lessons from America, and how to balance tradition with progress. They realized that war not only reshaped political and military landscapes, but also created opportunities for profound social change, with women at the center of this transformation. These experiences became a pivotal turning point for Japanese prisoners, particularly women. They no longer saw women merely as family caretakers, but as individuals with ability, competence, and authority to contribute fully to society. This laid the groundwork for post-war initiatives, as some prisoners would later pioneer industrial, managerial, and educational methods for women in Japan, paving the way for long-term societal transformation. Overall, the social shock and insights of Japanese prisoners witnessing American women in wartime industry provide clear evidence of the power of social change when urgent circumstances force a reevaluation of roles, capabilities, and potential. It also demonstrates that social progress can be driven by practical and strategic necessity, and that traditional values are not always the ultimate limits of human capability. These observations laid the foundation for profound awareness of women's power, abilities, and opportunities, as well as how society can evolve by fully leveraging the potential of all its members, regardless of gender. After the war ended, the experiences of Japanese female prisoners in the United States were not merely memories of conflict or temporary cultural shock. They became a foundation for rethinking the future of society and the role of women in industry. Their direct observations of how American women participated in wartime industry, balancing family responsibilities, managing production lines, and engaging in research and development, completely transformed their understanding of human potential and women's capabilities. These insights paved the way for cultural exchange programs aimed at transferring knowledge, skills, and experience from the U.S. to Japan, preparing the nation for post-war reconstruction. The cultural exchange program was designed not only to teach technical skills, but also to change perceptions about management, labor organization, and women's societal roles. Japanese female prisoners were invited to participate in courses on technical skills, production management, labor organization, and industrial sociology at American factories and training institutes. They learned to operate machinery, manage production lines, perform quality control, organize personnel, and apply modern management methods. More importantly, they witnessed firsthand how American society had adapted to harness the full potential of its workforce, especially women, for national objectives. During the program, the Japanese women not only learned technical skills, but also absorbed work culture, the value of independence, personal agency, and respect based on competence. They were mentored by American female supervisors, engineers, scientists, and managers who had successfully transitioned from traditional domestic roles to industrial leadership. Through these observations, the Japanese women realized that women's capabilities were not limited by biology or traditional culture, but by the opportunities, education, and social power afforded to them. A key component of the program was training these women to become bridges between the two societies. They learned not only technical skills, but also how to apply management techniques, labor organization strategies, and human resource development within the context of Japanese society. This included understanding how to balance work and family, create supportive environments for working women and children, and build an efficient workforce without disrupting social structures. The Japanese women recognized that the American model could be adapted to fit Japanese culture, but its fundamental principles, power based on competence, education, and opportunity, needed to remain intact to achieve effectiveness. The program's long-term impact went beyond technical skills and industrial knowledge. It brought a profound shift in awareness regarding gender, power, and societal roles. Upon returning to Japan, these women carried knowledge of women's potential, the ability to manage factories, design products, and participate in strategic decision-making. They had seen that full participation of women in the workforce not only increased productivity, but also fostered comprehensive social and economic development. This opened the door for social reforms that expanded women's roles from the domestic sphere into industry and the economy. One notable achievement of the program was the establishment of training institutes and skill development programs for women in post-war Japan. Former prisoners, particularly those who had participated in the exchange, became leaders, instructors, and advisors, guiding new generations of women into industry, business management, and engineering. They applied lessons learned from the U.S. to create training methods, management systems, and work environments suitable for Japanese society, while preserving traditional values yet expanding opportunities for women. These changes had far-reaching effects on Japanese society in the post-war decades. Female workforce participation increased significantly, with more women becoming engineers, managers, and industry specialists. The cultural exchange program helped them understand personal agency, social responsibility, and economic opportunity, fostering a generation of stronger, more confident Japanese women capable of contributing meaningfully to national development. The combination of technical expertise, management skills, and social awareness created a high-quality female workforce that contributed to Japan's rapid industrial and economic recovery. Beyond its direct impact on skills and industry, the exchange program prompted important changes in societal and cultural thinking. Japanese female prisoners realized that empowering women did not undermine family or society. Instead, it strengthened families and communities. They observed American families functioning effectively through shared responsibilities, community and government support, and recognition of individual capabilities. This led them to reconsider how Japanese society could harness women's potential without compromising cultural values. Another significant outcome was the creation of international networks and awareness of women's global role. Japanese female prisoners returned home with deep understanding of how American women and allied nations organized labor, developed skills, and engaged in industrial and research projects. This not only enabled them to apply effective methods, but also provided a global perspective, recognizing that women could contribute to national and societal development while participating in international economic, industrial, and cultural integration. The program also emphasized the importance of continuous education and training. Japanese female prisoners learned to organize technical, managerial, and workforce development courses for women in Japan, opening opportunities for thousands of young women to learn and grow. They understood that investing in education and skills enhanced individual capacity while increasing national competitiveness. This offered a crucial lesson on how war, despite its destruction, could create opportunities for society to restructure and develop sustainably. The long-term impact of the cultural exchange program was also evident in leadership and management roles within industry. Former female prisoners became managers, engineers, teachers, and consultants, applying modern management techniques, organizing labor efficiently, and creating diverse work environments that respected individual capabilities. They demonstrated that women could not only perform effectively in traditional roles, but also lead and improve industrial systems. A clear example of the program's lasting effect was that many Japanese women became highly skilled technical POW and managerial experts, leading major industrial projects and participating in policy-making and economic development. The exchange programs helped them build knowledge, skills, and managerial thinking, contributing to Japan's rapid and sustainable economic recovery. Moreover, the exchange program created opportunities for international cooperation. Japanese women who had studied and worked in the U.S. became bridges between companies, research institutes, and governments, sharing experience, technology, and effective management methods. They helped establish female workforce development programs in Japan and other Asian countries, creating long-lasting regional influence. The program's success was also reflected in policies and infrastructure supporting working women. Former female prisoners learned from the U.S. how to organize childcare services, family support systems, and effective time management, which they implemented in Japan. This enabled women to participate in the workforce while maintaining family responsibilities, creating a balanced and sustainable model. All of these changes not only elevated the status of women in Japanese society, but also demonstrated that expanding women's roles was a crucial part of national recovery and development. The cultural exchange program conveyed new knowledge, skills, and awareness, creating a generation of dynamic, confident Japanese women capable of contributing to industry, management, and society. In the post-war context, Japanese female prisoners clearly recognized that they were part of a profound social transformation. Learning from the American model was not only about technical expertise, but also lessons in power, independence, and societal roles. They understood that transferring this knowledge and experience could help Japan recover quickly, develop sustainably, and fully leverage the potential of its female workforce, shaping society toward progress and modernization. Overall, the cultural exchange program left a lasting and profound impact. It not only enhanced Japanese women's industrial and management skills, but also transformed societal perceptions of women's roles, power, and capabilities. The experiences and knowledge gained became the foundation for building a modern Japanese society where women could fully participate in industry, management, and strategic decision-making while maintaining cultural values in a balanced and effective way. After the war, the contributions of American women in factories, manufacturing plants, and research institutions were not only vital to victory, but also left a profound and lasting legacy, influencing both American society and the world. Their involvement in industrial production, technical research, and management leadership demonstrated that gender was not a barrier to performing technical, managerial, or strategic work. This legacy extends beyond increased productivity or wartime contributions. It serves as living evidence that when societies empower women, provide opportunities, and build supportive infrastructure, women can develop capabilities far beyond traditional limits. One of the clearest indicators of this legacy is the profound shift in societal perceptions regarding women's roles in the workforce. Before the war, women were primarily positioned as homemakers, caretakers, and supporters of their husbands and children. However, when millions of American women entered wartime production, they proved that women could undertake technical tasks, manage production lines, engage in scientific research, and assume effective leadership roles. Their technical proficiency, organizational skills, and confidence challenged gender biases and established new standards for women's societal roles. The impact of this legacy extended beyond the United States. Through cultural exchange programs, Japanese female prisoners, as well as female engineers and managers from the U.S., transmitted their experiences, skills, and working methods to other nations, particularly war-torn countries in Asia. They became living role models, demonstrating that competence, independence, and personal agency could be developed and applied to rebuild and advance industry, regardless of gender or geography. Japanese female prisoners, upon returning home, applied these lessons to train and guide tens of thousands of Japanese women in industry, management, and engineering, contributing significantly to economic and social reconstruction. A concrete example is the establishment of industrial training institutes for women in Japan, where former female prisoners and American trainees had instructed on production skills, personnel management, and technical development for Japanese women. These programs not only provided technical knowledge, but also fostered management thinking, leadership abilities, and awareness of personal agency. As a result, a dynamic and highly skilled generation of Japanese women emerged, enhancing industrial productivity, improving business management quality, and promoting innovation. The global impact of American women's legacy was further evident as training, management, and female workforce development models were adopted in many other countries after the war. For instance, technical cooperation and knowledge exchange programs between Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and the U.S. enabled these countries to harness women's capabilities during industrialization and modernization. Female specialists, engineers, and managers shared experience in production organization, management techniques, childcare, and work-family balance, creating efficient and sustainable workplaces and opening opportunities for millions of women to enter previously male-dominated fields. This legacy also influenced perceptions of education and training. After the war, the U.S. and its allies recognized that fully harnessing human potential, especially women, required investment in technical, scientific, and managerial education. Lessons from wartime experience contributed to the creation of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics programs for women, encouraging them to enter industrial and research fields previously inaccessible. This marked an important step towards sustainable development and gender equality in global technology and industry. Another dimension of American women's legacy is the shift in corporate and societal culture. Wartime factories, workshops, and research institutions created diverse organizational models where women, men, different ethnic groups, and social classes collaborated for maximum efficiency. These models demonstrated that diversity and recognition of individual capability are crucial to enhancing productivity and innovation. After the war, these approaches continued to influence labor policies, corporate management, and workforce development globally, paving the way for gender equality across multiple economic sectors. American women's legacy also highlights the importance of social support and infrastructure. Wartime childcare programs, family support initiatives, and flexible labor policies showed that, given conducive conditions, women could fully participate in the workforce while maintaining family responsibilities. Other nations adopted these lessons, establishing child care services, maternity leave, and flexible work arrangements, allowing women to join industrial and managerial roles. This was a critical step toward creating equitable and efficient workplaces worldwide. The influence of this legacy is also evident in the rise of modern women's rights movements. Images, stories, and achievements of wartime female workers inspired post-war campaigns for equality, education, and career opportunities. The qualities they exemplified, confidence, technical competence, leadership, and independence, became new social norms, reshaping perceptions of gender and power across cultures. In the decades following the war, this legacy was expanded through international cooperation, consulting, and technical training programs. American women who had participated in wartime production became advisors and instructors for developing nations, helping establish industrial, managerial, and technical training programs for women. Consequently, women in many countries gained opportunities to learn, develop skills, and enter industrial sectors, contributing to sustainable economic and social development. A notable example is Japan, where former female prisoners and American trainees became leaders in industry and education. They established female industrial training programs, enabling tens of thousands of Japanese women to acquire technical, managerial, and production organization skills. Women's participation boosted industrial productivity, promoted innovation, and played a key role in post-war economic recovery. This impact extended to other Asian countries, such as South Korea, Taiwan, and other developing nations, where workforce development models based on American experience were successfully implemented. American women's legacy also reflects the balance between personal agency and social responsibility. Recognizing their abilities, women not only pursued personal goals, but also contributed to industrial, research, and development projects serving community and national interests. This awareness inspired subsequent generations of women to engage actively in social, educational, industrial, and scientific development. In the post-war era of globalization, the influence of American women's legacy expanded through international collaboration, cultural exchange, and workforce development programs. Female specialists, engineers, and managers from the U.S. helped other countries build training systems, develop skills, and increase women's participation in industry and management. This not only enhanced production and management capacity, but also promoted gender equality and sustainable development, demonstrating that American women's legacy was a critical factor in global social progress. A final aspect of this legacy is its symbolic significance. Images of American women operating machinery, leading production lines, and engaging in scientific research became global symbols of women's capability, power, and freedom. These symbols inspired others, challenged traditional norms, and encouraged nations and communities to reconsider women's societal roles, creating opportunities for equality and comprehensive development. In summary, American women's wartime legacy was not only a material contribution to victory, but also a social, cultural, and economic revolution. Their participation demonstrated that women could perform technical, leadership, and managerial tasks effectively while maintaining family and social responsibilities. This legacy inspired generations of women worldwide, paving the way for industrial development, education, and gender equality in numerous countries. It also established models for cooperation, training, and female workforce development, from Japan and South Korea to developing nations, demonstrating that human potential, when harnessed and empowered, can transcend cultural, social, and historical limits. With its global impact, this legacy reminds us that a society's true strength lies not merely in natural resources or material wealth, but in the ability to fully utilize human potential, regardless of gender. American women during the war proved that when opportunities are given, they can contribute equally or even surpass expectations in all vital sectors of society. Their legacy is not only a historical memory, but a vital lesson for nations seeking to maximize human potential, promote gender equality, and build progressive, prosperous, and sustainable societies worldwide.